We'd like to welcome Master Cutter, the Opal Princess. The Opal Princess.
The Opal. Oh, dang it. I'm okay with Princess.
The Opal Princess. Yeah, so we got a
okay, I like that.
There. You can kind of see it kind of trickles down here. So we need to know. We got a little bit of color showing up there.
So how do you know, like, so when you're looking at this, how do you know what is the, I mean, you've looked at enough of them, but like for me, amateur, so
you can see there's a color bar right here.
Yep.
You can see there's a color bar up here.
Okay.
So it gives us two options. We can go in from the bottom and try to see if we can get that one to face, and we can go in from the top and see if we can get that one, because it gives you two chances on this stone. They're very thin, so there's not a lot of room for error. But so I would start going now on the top here, go down,
okay,
and just tickle a little bit off, then look at it, tickle some off and look at it, and when you start seeing that those color bars are thin enough that...
How the H do you hold this without taking your fingers off?
Where are your fingers off? When you start bleeding, you'll learn to keep them off.
Well, I didn't go get my nails done. Oh man, that splashed my face.
It just takes... Now, imagine if you only had like a half of a thumb on one side.
How much harder it would be.
This one you almost can't go too slow. I know it's probably boring on video, but
okay,
the color bars when they're thin, you don't want to be down on the color bar. You want to be close enough you can see the color bar. You want to see the skin on top.
So am I getting like...
And so, yeah, I'm starting to see it come through a little bit there, like right there on the edge.
Okay.
So what you're going to do now is when you put pressure on it, you're going to put pressure more on the bottom than the top.
Okay.
So you're exaggerating it way more than you need to. You can actually have the full stone in contact with the face, and I can cut just the bottom right here, and I can cut just the top right here, and you see how much difference I did?
Yeah, just the pressure.
I cut only the top and I cut only the bottom. But in this, we're not doing the right thing. But you got to learn to where if I want to take a little bit off right here because I'm trying to make like a cabochon, the whole thing is still touching, but I'm only cutting right there right now. That's the only place I'm cutting. And I even exaggerated a little bit. So you just kind of learn about, you kind of feel the wheel. Where is the wheel touching the stone? And if that time you take more off, you don't want to get any more off in this top part. You can flip it. If you're naturally inclined to put more pressure top,
I definitely am. Okay.
Just keep in mind that we paid $80,000 for this stone.
So don't screw it up.
See the color coming through right there? Now, a chance right now, the way this, try to keep it up here.
Oh.
The way the sand and everything is, we're not sure if that sand goes through deeper than that thin color bar, but we're going to act it right now as if the sand is on top of the color bar, it's going to be safe. So I would try to take a little bit more off of that sandy spot and see if that's going to come off.
Okay.
And if we got color underneath it. We might not, I think this has kind of an undulating color bar, we might end up having to cut it down.
Oh, there we go. Some of it's coming through now.
Oh yeah, just come through. So that's really all we need to go. Now you've established that we've got some color like right in here and right in here.
Okay.
If we look, I think there's even better color a little bit further down. We just don't know if it goes all the way around. Like it dives up right here. There's a nice color.
Yeah, it's not
back of the color right there. Because we're not going to get down into unless we mess up. But actually, you might could roll that a little bit. What I might do is right here is I would take and roll that down to that color bar to see if that's where we want to be. See how that color is kind of, and I don't know how far that's going to go, but it might give you, on a stone like this, I think we're looking at, do we have one or two places where we can cut a small stone? Okay. Because of the sand and the way the color bar is wavy, there's almost no chance this whole thing's going to face and fit your 70 karat ring you bought.
Yeah. Dang it.
So yeah, take a little bit more off of that sand right there. Okay. See what we're working with. So this is just your practice piece. That used to be worse when I had it up here, but I tightened the hose up. So this is just, that one used to be faster than that, but I'm lazy with my production. These are typically set up to where they run off of
okay, am I taking more off that? Oh, that's cool.
We got a nice color right there.
Okay.
Take a little bit more off this corner right here. Okay, so now what I would do is, I think I wouldn't do any more on this wheel. Okay. Now we want to go super slow. We want to slowly start going through the sand and seeing if we can get through the sand before we get through our color. So we're going to move this one over here.
And this one goes.
Color's getting brighter, the sand's getting thinner. It's the...
I'm so nervous.
The thing that puts a knot in your throat because...
I know, I'm like...
You need the sand out, but you need the color to stay, and sometimes, and at some point, you may have to make the determination. Well, we can get the sand out in this area, but not here or here, and that's going to ruin our stones, and we have to cut it.
Okay, so I feel like I'm putting more pressure here. Is that what I'm supposed to be doing?
This looks deep. This looks more surface. That looks like a deep spot. That looks like possibly a deep spot. So I would see if we can't get that out. And then what you're doing is you're looking from the side.
Okay.
So I think here we've got plenty of color bar. Right here we've got plenty of color bar. This is where we're thinnest, and we may just have to bring the stone in on that side.
Okay.
But I think you've got enough color bar that most of that sand's going to come out. So I would just keep tickling that sand out.
Okay.
Do that. I can't think of a better term. That's what you're doing. You're just doing that.
And honestly, it's more nerve-wracking than you would think. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, wait till you have one.
And this is, I know, I'm like, and this is even not a great one.
Yeah, if you all of a sudden revealed something that would cut to be $1,000.
I'm not doing it. I'm handing it to you.
But it's shot full of problems like that. Like if you were looking at, rolling reds or a magic that could cut into a particle pattern.
Yeah. Well, I can see why that green one you cut the other day, you were like, oh, because I'm barely cutting this one. I'm like, dang, don't ruin it.
Well, this is what's fun about it. Most of these, especially when you start and when you're buying cheaper stuff, most of them don't work out. You have to get used to kicking yourself in the face every day.
Used to a little disappointment.
But when they do work out, then there's that sense of, I did everything right. I would roll this edge off a little bit like that, see if we get that.
What you did with that one, that you put the pendant in it, can you do that with regular opal? Can you drill it through? Yeah. That's what I'm thinking, that one that I bought off the farm.
Okay, now where am I? Just keep going on this side?
I'm thinking we're going to have to take that corner off.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I see any more color in it. Yeah, we've lost our color there, so I would pop over here.
Freak.
You might fight to get sand off of a spot that doesn't end up being in your final shape.
Okay.
So now's a good time to decide what we want to do, and we can look. I'm thinking this would be a teardrop or an oval. I usually avoid teardrops if I can avoid teardrops.
I like the oval better, but
but we could. Something about, so a 13 is one of the most common sizes, so that would be a good one to try for.
okay. Yeah, let's do that. I like that.
Okay, so we've got a calibrated 13 on there, and we don't have to take it all the way down to that. You just have to take it down to, you can use that as your guide to start taking the edges in. And, I mean, you can do it on this one, or you can do it on this one, it'll do it a lot quicker. But if you, so right now, the closest point to the edge, so if you cut everything down to where it's that far away from the line, then you might end up with a 14 millimeter calibrated stone.
Okay.
But by reducing its surface area, where there's less area, we have to try and get sand out of it.
Perfect. Okay, so which one should I do it on? This one or that one? Neither one.
I would do it on that one, but that one's going to eat it. You can get carried away quick and lose too much.
Hey!
Well.
Yours is going way better.
It always goes better if you have 3 or 4 people looking over your shoulder.
Way
Way less intimidating. Or when someone like asks you a question and you're like, oh, I knew that yesterday, but since you just asked me on the spot.
Yeah, when that stone was cutting new, and I even shifted my feet while I was cutting it. It was a millimeter off the side.
I definitely am putting more pressure. I can see how this is like just practice, because I'm definitely putting more pressure on the top of the stone.
Yeah, the other thing you can do is, we don't need all that sand and crap.
Okay.
So you can just go ahead and just, I'll get it started out here on the edge and then just use my thumb to kind of, again, I can direct pressure where I want to with my thumb. So we're just going to.
It's like you've done it a time or two.
I did it once before. I practiced once.
Before you lost your thumb, right?
So I always leave a little bit more than I need on thickness because sometimes things happen. Your color bar ends up angled and you have to adjust the bottom at a different angle.
Okay.
You always want to leave a little bit more than you think because too many times if you take it down to just what you think it might need to be, you wish you had a bit more. And once it gets down to where it's too small for you to be able to handle, we can dock it up and then you have a stick there and you pull it.
Okay.
Makes it way easier. But I mean, you're working at 6 carat piece right now, 5 6 carats, so it's fairly big as far as opals.
Does it irritate you to watch people do it because you're like, oh my gosh, you're going so slow, or you're
probably doing it at a faster pace than I would be doing.
Oh, well, I do have 6 kids, so I don't have
to do it than watch it.
That's true.
You're standing here, but don't tell that to people watching on YouTube.
Okay, so now what? So now
So if you're ready to, I think we can take a little bit more off the thickness to get.
Okay.
What we want to do is to get. We're actually pretty close. We want to make sure our 2 faces are parallel before we dop it out. We definitely want that standoff, so I would probably take it down a little bit more just to get a feel for it before we dop it out. And we can clean up more of it after you're finished. So again, I just do it one-handed if I'm going to do it, even with the smaller stones. I kind of ease it in from the edge, and right now I'm not cutting anything. I'm letting it ride on that water skin that's on the thing, and then I start putting the pressure. If I know I'm a little bit thick in one spot or the other, I just roll my thumb to put the pressure where I want it.
Okay.
So that's how I take, you know, rather than try to get 2 hands in there and manipulate 10 fingers.
Okay.
Then you can kind of feel, so I think you want to cut a little bit more on this side than that side. That's probably far enough now.
Oh.
And then you'll get better at just kind of scooping it back off. So, yep.
Oh.
Okay, so let's stop it.
Okay.
All right, so I started this little shell piece that actually I pulled out of the chip jar. I don't know how it didn't get dumped into one of you guys' bags, but I snagged it out. I think it's possibly one that Navy helped me put in there. And we're gonna do an oval. Shell is some of the prettiest stuff. It's just, a lot of it's too thin and you have to do doublets out of it. You have to back it.
That purple shell we have ours, that's the best color I've ever seen, but how to get it off of it. Yeah, the purple's are my favorite. That's today, tomorrow, I need like red or something.
I'm gonna go down to an oval here, but maybe. Man, that's so pretty. You're not watching all the steps you're about to have to do. So I'm just I kind of go back and forth between working on the dome and perfecting the shape of the oval. I have that little chip right there that I'm trying to make everything else match. So right there's the angle of the chip, and then I'll just take the whole face around that angle. That sets my dome. Yeah, and Tommy did a video on shell stuff yesterday. Either me or Navy threw this one away in the chip jar because we didn't want to mess with it. And now I think one more time I'll just make sure my oval is perfect.
You make it look so easy.
It's a little egg-shaped, but I'm okay with that on this one. By rolling it like this, I'm taking, each time you make a cut on it, it leaves a little facet, a little grind line. And if you move it fast and spin it, then it helps get rid of those lines, especially over here on the polishing wheel.
Not too shabby.
Look at that little shell.
It's not too shabby at all.
She's a beaut. Alright, you're up. Especially as you come closer to the line, then you gotta get more precise. Giving you the buffer zone.
Ah, this is.
It's not scary, it's exciting.
It is. I'm like a little bit nervous, but it's actually like way more relaxing than I thought it would be. It's like a little more, it's like kind of
This is why I come
mesmerizing.
out here every day after work and cut opals. And then the opals kick me in the face and I forget about work.
You're like, ooh, that wasn't so bad at work.
You gotta go back to work.
I gotta go back to work.
Well,
Because obviously that opal didn't work and I'm gonna have to earn some money.
So I can buy a new opal that won't work.
But when they work,
I know that green one you cut the other day was so cool. And seeing it in person was really fun.
working on your dough.
Okay, so is this, I feel like I'm pretty close except for maybe over here. To the same,
All it is seeing where it's too far away from the line and taking some off there. And when you take off too much there, then you have to take it off everywhere else.
I feel like I gotta, when I blink, I look down, I'm like, oh shoot.
It's still cutting when you blink. It's okay to take the stone off the thing if you didn't blink that long.
I don't know. Maybe I'm
How slow are
wrong.
your reflexes? So now,
Okay.
what we want for your settings, on the ones, if we have, we almost should have seen if this one would have cut the round that we have.
Oh yeah.
It's too big that. It
Oh.
might have been big enough, but typically what you want is a taper from the bottom to the top in, like this.
Okay.
And that allows the prongs to rest against that, but the stone can't fall out of the prongs when they're leaned in. And that's so you want to cut a slight bevel this way into the center of the stone. As you,
Okay, so I'm just gonna tip this a little bit more this way.
not nearly that much.
So like this.
Not even that much. Keep level, keep level, keep level, keep level, keep level. So wait, go all the way down. This is straight up and down right here.
Okay.
Straight up and down. Anything more than that, so about right there is what I would say. It's probably about a 20-degree angle. Now if you can get that angle consistent all the way around the stone, and if you don't dop it up straight, which I never do, I just accommodate my roll.
Oh great.
But yours is fairly straight. If you have it dopped up straight, you can just simply roll it, and it's going to stay there. If you don't dop it up straight, you have to adjust your pivot as you roll. But I'm too impatient to stand there and... That's one of the advantages to using wax, is you can mess with it, get it exactly right. The glue just sort of sets it where you're at. So I learned to live with it. Okay, so I think you're ready.
Okay.
Now we're going to go in kind of this angle here. Now you're going to get a little bit more of it, so about maybe a 45-degree angle, and we're going to start rolling that. And keep in mind, when it comes across the small sides, it's going to cut faster than when it's on the long side. So I spend about twice as much time here as I do, and I just kind of just blip it around those ones until you kind of learn, because you can always come back and cut more off here. But if you use the same amount of time here, and as you're rolling out this, you're still doing the same pace and that stuff, what you're going to find is you now have a stone that's funny shaped and not uniform all the way around. Now we'll start rolling.
Okay, I gotta look at it and see where my, so this one side's a little thicker. Okay.
Careful right here. 'cause
Oh,
that
yeah.
makes it- So what I like to do is, I want my bevel to start maybe in this case about halfway up the stone. The rest of it can stay straight, but the rest of it you want to start rolling the bevel from about the middle. So that's when you're going to be making contact. And you sort of slowly increase the angle until you're rolling to the top.
Show me how, yeah.
So I'm going to start it, so I'm making contact. I'm going to be cutting from here up, right here, like this.
Okay.
When I make this initial pass right here. And I'm changing how hard I'm not pushing very hard at all, but the amount of pressure I'm using is more when it's on the long side and less. And then I'm going to keep increasing the angle, until eventually I'm working the top like that. We want the highest point on the stone to be the center. So you're going to get the whole stone towards the right angle here, and then roll it up a little bit more and more. You don't want to cut, all we want to do is take the grind marks that might be left from this wheel off the center point. We don't want to grind much off of that.
Okay. So I'm about to where I'm just taking
And
an,
we're just assuming that, like, if you had a razor thin color bar, we're just assuming that you have a color bar that's going to allow you to film it, just because it's simple to practice.
okay.
Sometimes you don't get the luxury of filming it this much. All you can do is just kind of break the edge over and soften it.
Oh, because I'm.
Keep it in contact and just kind of roll it. There you go. See how that immediately starts to how this.
Yeah.
You're controlling the speed you roll it and the pressure you put on the thing to control it. Now get it steeper and steeper until you start rolling that gun off. I'll go all around that angle. Make it even steeper angle. Roll all the way around the angle. Even steeper, like over the left side.
Whoa.
Steeper, you're just walking that down to the top. See, while we're doing it, we have to do this anyway. We're hoping that while we do what we have to do, it makes the sand problems go away.
Okay, so now am I doing it even steeper?
Yep. And again, each cut that is steeper requires less cutting. We want to take it off less and less with each step.
Okay.
Because we want to get to go and get higher. We don't want to cut it and have it be even all the way across.
Okay, so am I doing like the top now or
I
just?
can see if you look down at it, you've got more bevel on this side than
Yeah.
this side. So I'll go back and kind of address that back at your original angle and kind of just work it back through. The other side, so you got slow down on that. You can kind of go forward and back on that side. Kind of pick it. Yep. And now roll it even steeper. Just keep doing that. Roll the angle steeper and steeper. Yep. Okay, now do that to the other side so they both match. Now you can see we've got a high point on the top of that thing that we need to get off of there. See the high point right there? Fortunately, your high point also has the sand on it, so you
Oh
want it to
yeah.
come off.
So just straight on?
Not quite. I would still be rolling. I would still roll it off. You
Okay.
don't want to end up in a flat spot there. You still want to angle it. Right now, work it back and forth right in that spot. Press angle. I look down and see how we are for color bars. Is it coming through? It actually is.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll have color bar through the whole thing. Let me look at your sheet.
It looks like a really bad old.
It looks like a fried egg. No. Some of it is the color throws it off and makes it look like there's gaps where there's not gaps, and then there's a little bit.
So I feel like there's a little bit.
See,
on
there's
this side.
see, there's a high spot. There's a little bit of a high spot right here and a low spot right there. Low spot, high spot, low spot, high spot, high spot, low spot, high spot.
Okay.
This angle here is different than this
clean
angle.
that up for me.
And so I'm just going to hit your high spot right there.
Okay.
We might want to take it down a little bit to get that sand out of the side. But yeah, that sand right there is kind of messing with this.
It is funny how when you look at the sand, I almost eliminated that from my mind as I was cutting. You know what I mean? So it threw my shape off in my mind a little bit.
That and the sand cuts so much quicker that it's easy to make those end up as low spots. I don't know if we're going to get the sand out of that. It just keeps going in. It just keeps going in. So I'm going to clean it up like it wasn't there. And then I'll just go back through and I cut mostly off this side here, so I'm going to just kind of and then I'm just going to go over the top just enough to make sure I don't have any scratch marks from that previous wheel. And now we really need the sand to come out. So the question is,
Pop of color on that end there. There we go.
I think the sand that we're seeing comes up from here and goes all the way up in. And I think that one comes all the way up in. I don't think that one's going to come down, but there's a chance that this sand would come out.
I'm watching you and I definitely was way more choppy. You do a lot more rolling. So I gotta do more rolling.
I don't think I would go ahead and roll that one more time. And I think I don't think you're going to get the sand out of that one. That's why it was the practice one. But it's still going to have some color and be pretty. You probably wouldn't set it, but it's a good one to keep for your first stone you cut.
I like it. Not perfect, kind of like me.
Okay. So typically start on the side, here to the side, clean all the scratch marks off the side of the stone, and then you start working up through your angles till you're eventually working the top.
Okay.
We got to get all the scratch on this wheel. We got all the scratch marks from this wheel off. On that one, we got to get all the scratch marks from this one. Or they're going to have to be able to collect it.
Okay, how do I know if they're all off?
Dry it off. Rub it on your forearm. Look at it in the light. So I can see. Okay, Mariah's starting hers.
So I took that head off. Where did you go?
If you try to make, this is probably going to be your bottom, this is going to be your top, because otherwise this angle right here would all have to go away. You can incorporate some of that into your dome,
Okay.
to save some of the footprint. So I would just clean that little piece has to come off, clean that off, and then flatten up your bottom to be able to dop it. So
This is going to be my bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just special. Yep. Don't take off any more than you have to, because you want to leave opportunities to just enough to get a flat spot to dop it up. And that was probably going to end up being a double-sided stone.
Yeah,
And I'd go a little
that'd be
bit
a
more.
problem.
That'd be cool for a
Yeah, thanks for getting your 72 karat ring here, Chris. I have the perfect stone for it. So guys, to play a trick on Ricky, Chrisline ordered a humongous ring, and it just didn't get here in time.
25 carat the opening for it.
Yeah, it was pretty big. It was pretty good. So I think I got the bottom pretty clean. This stone actually came in the first parcel that Chrisline and I got. So this doesn't lend itself easily. So that's my bottom.
Yep.
So I have to
If I would do I would probably do a cushion cut, and I would dop it up right now.
Okay.
The cushion cuts are my favorite.
I
You can do an oval, or you could do a cabochon right there.
do a cabochon, lose a little less.
Yeah. The last time I saw it was blank.
I think there's a crack in that. Maybe not.
I think it was a dark, dark one. I had to look out, and I was just ready to pop out and show everybody how
So, everybody in YouTube land, I'm the shortest of the three of us here, so the water sprays right into my face. So, I'm slightly impressed that this hasn't come off the dop yet, though. That stuff has to come out. That little sand spot.
He likes it so much. It was the only one in that parcel that turned out. He felt bad enough that he sent me some more. None of those turned out, except for I think one little one. So it was the only one, but I mean that one right there was an amazing stone. It was probably a carat and a half. Yeah. And it happened on a really crappy day when I was really struggling. And I was like,
Oh, the ultimate kicker. It just sprays right in my face.
you probably should wear the safety glasses.
No.
I'm sure
Now how do I not overcorrect for that dome? I just have to take it down.
I think you have to take it down just because there's so much angle there. You're not going to be able to. You either have to take it down the side, or you have to take it down to the top. Because of the sand, I would take it down to the top. You'd like it to be a tight hole, reasonable, but something's got to get there. I did have one go over here to this corner.
Fixes all the way.
That's why Jason, when he does this, he should shop the back of it. Drop an 80,000 on it. Alright, this will be Chris's first solo cut.
Feeling pretty good about this one. The shape's a little tricky. Sometimes, like, I feel like I've got it, and then I look down and I'm like, oh, that's wonky.
But it's about a 10 millimeter oval, so you're going to find it easy to find a setting for it.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm sure it change a second. Well, the funny thing is, the story behind the opal cave is that Tommy messaged me and says, "Are you cutting opals in a cave?" And I was like, "No, that's just insulation." So that's where the name came from.
I can see why.
So there's Crystaline's first. Let's get it in a better light. Our first Cooper PD oval, 10 millimeter standard calibrated cut. Beautiful color. Nice job.
Didn't even suck too bad.
Show mine.
There's Mariah's first one.
Mine.
Okay, you're going to show off the results of the. Get it over here in the light.
Okay. You go first, sis.
Yeah, it has to be in the light.
Wait a minute. Is that the one you did or the one I did? That's the one you
the one I
did.
did,
Hey, it's
yeah.
good enough. I thought it was the one I did.
Yeah! Except the colors
Except for it's.
never did come quite through. But
So if you remember the pendant that we've tried 5 times to set, Mariah had one. She set this one today. Where's the one I set? Oh, right here. I happened to set this one. Find a place to set this one today. This one needed a place to go. It's not too shabby.
it's a nice one.
Get it over here in the light.
There's mine.
Crystaline's second stone she ever cut.
Hey, mine is not glittering gold and
It is.
green and blues like yours.
Everything that glitters is not gold. It's glittering. Look. Look at that
Oh,
glitter.
there we go. See, you just did a bad job at first.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Cooper hits light differently than the other ones. And we're going to set that one in this little
Yeah.
pendant here before they're done. Or we were going to before I just lost it.
There's the
Oh, you
first-
were going to weigh it, right?
Oh yeah, there's the first one I did. And then this was just a play around one.
All right, weigh your stuff.
Okay.
So your
here's
Cooper
mine.
PD. Oh, you should have to guess first. 1.2.
should've.
So 1.2
I was
carat.
gonna guess 1.2. I was going to.
That's what I was going to say. 1.19 actually.
Okay, I think this one's probably this similar. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
you're
one.
pretty close. 1.17. We're pretty close.
And this one's probably what?
Here.
2,
Almost going to be over 2.
2.2?
Close to 3. 2.5.
Yeah, that's mine. That was my,
Alright, so Mariah's is set.
Well, it's not in there. It's
You
just
can pop it out.
it'll come out.
1.2. Did you guys only want to cut small ones?
Hey,
listen.
all the
Shut
parcel
up.
we were
Much
working
harder.
with.
So, the Opal Princess, she's not the Opal Queen yet. Somebody else has that. The other Opal Princess,
we did
Mariah
pretty
and
good.
Crystalline, my sisters, came and cut Opal with me today. We had a good time. Hope you enjoyed. What are they supposed to do?
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, see? I put you on the spot.